Yo, what's going on, you guys? Tucker here with a brand new video for you guys today. We're going to be showcasing 8 different decks in this video. Just going over them. The deck codes will be down in the description to help you succeed post OTA, and this OTA was crazy. Let's go ahead and break it down. The change that I am most excited about is with this list right here. Stegron is now a 4/7 and it is a targeted move card. It moves a random card in this location to the right. So you can target this with your Craven. You can target this with your Kingpin. It actually feels good now. Stegron's kind of been in a shaky spot as of recently. Honestly, probably since its release. But I'm glad Stegron's getting some love. Be on the lookout for this pesky dinosaur everywhere. The next change we're looking at here is Red Hulk is going from a 6/9, getting +4 for every time your opponent doesn't spend energy, to a 6/10 with +3 with unspent energy. And this is the deck right here that I think is going to be freaking phenomenal. I think Thanos, it's totally his time to come back, especially even with all the Thanos changes, with the changes to Professor X, which we're going to be going over next, actually, as well. I think Thanos is going to be back, and it's going to be back with a vengeance, which honestly, like a Thanos card meta, I feel like it's one of the healthier metas. Yes, you may see a lot of Thanos, but I feel like there's still a lot of opportunities to try other things, which I've really enjoyed. But let's go ahead and jump into Professor X's change, okay? Professor X is going from a 5/1 to a 5/2. So no more Reverse Energy. And his ability is changing. It is not a locked down location in the same sense now. You can only get into this location by moving cards into this location. But you can still use Jeff. But this means you can also use Nocturne. You can use your Nightcrawler. Your Spider-Man, if you wanted to throw Spider-Man in there. Vision. All these other cards can still flow into this location, which is going to be really interesting to see how Professor X kind of interacts. But this is the deck list right here that I'm planning on messing around with. I'm a huge High Evo stan. It's been pretty solid in High Evo overall as well. I think with the Pixie interaction, it helps kind of account for the old Ravonna value you would get being able to cheat out of Professor X early. And I don't think you have it as necessarily your primary win con anymore. I think he's a great support card now at this point. But, of course, we'll have to see with more testing what happens, actually. But this is the list I think is going to be absolutely phenomenal for Professor X. Next, we want to go over my boy Black Knight. Black Knight actually got a decent little nerf here. So now the Ebony Blade can be Shadow Kinged. It still cannot be destroyed, but it can be Shadow Kinged. So that's why with this list right here, I have Luke Cage in this list for that exact reason. So now it's a little bit extra, like less steps. I feel like you have to Enchantress to Shadow King, or you would have to Red Guardian to Shadow King. So now it makes this deck actually a little bit more fair, which I totally understand. I'm a little sad about it, but I think this is totally the list I'm going to be rocking with. I've been having a lot of sex with this like iteration of this list. So you guys got to try it out too. Of course, like I was saying earlier, all the decks will be down in the description below. Next, we actually have 2 cards in this list over here. So, we have Shanna going from a 3/2 to a 3/4, same exact ability, and we have Gilgamesh going from a 5/7 to a 5/9. This is the first time we've had a Season Pass card get updated within the first 2 weeks of their release, which is crazy. I guess they're understanding that Gilgamesh wasn't performing the way they wanted Gilgamesh to perform. And I think with the Zoo iteration, you're kind of getting all sorts of great value with Gilgamesh. I don't think you want him as your primary win con, which is why we have so many different iterations, why we have, you know, Crossbones and Call Obsidian in this list over here, which I know is a little interesting, but you're trying to get as much power out as possible. You don't necessarily know what you're going to be getting from your 1-drops, but this is what I've been having a lot of like just great insight and like trying to tech out with Gilgamesh, and it's been really, really awesome. Next, we have this super giant list for the new Cannonball. So Cannonball went from a 5/8 to a 5/7. I don't necessarily know if the change is going to be too detrimental for his power. I think because the Professor X change is a little bit more interesting for Cannonball. That's why with this list, you're not necessarily primarily using Cannonball to win you games, but it's a nice alternate line to kind of play against your opponent. Super Giant's more the engine here. You're able to float all sorts of other tech in with this list too. But I've thoroughly enjoyed. I've been up against this, and it does body me a lot. So I've been playing it some myself, and it's been awesome. And I think even with the Cannonball change, this deck is still very useful, and also has Dr. Doom in here. If you need to just go vertical on some lanes and then horizontal with Dr. Doom, it kind of allows you to kind of do that sort of interaction too, and the Claw is also super, super sneaky. Next, we got my boy Husky's Hela list. Hela also got readjusted. She's still a 6/6, but your cards that are recovered, resurrected, whichever the terminology is, it's resurrected. It is -2 power is added to each one of those cards. So I guess it's to account for how just dominant kind of Hela's been. I'm not sure how the -2 power is really going to affect Hela's win-loss kind of situation. I mean, -2 power coming back on some of these cards isn't great. But I think overall, I think Hela's still going to be in a good spot. Maybe they tweak it a little bit more later. But of course, this list by Husky has been my favorite list of Hela. And he's beaten me with it quite a bunch. And I think with the -2, I think Hela's still going to be in a solid spot. And then lastly, we have this ongoing list. Captain America went from a 3-2 to a 3-3. So now Captain America, I was thinking more instead of the C2 list you may have seen him in, which kind of stinks him going to a 3-3. You're using him instead of Punisher in this ongoing list, which has also been really dominant, and also a very Hela-infested meta, which is still probably going to happen. I think this list is going to be your go-to. And if you guys also enjoyed the video, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. All deck codes will be down in the description below. I appreciate you guys. Until the next one, Tucker out.